Hello? You guys there?
Hi, Rick.
Hello, Rick.
Hey!
Hey, we're all here now.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, thanks for your patience.
Oh, no problem. How you guys been?
Good,
Great.
doing well, thank you.
All right, do we dive in, or?
Why not?
All right, well, who wants to start?
Who wants to be the villain?
It's your turn.
Of course, I'd love to.
Well, first off, thanks again for getting on the phone with us.
And please don't consider this call prescriptive creatively. Think of it as a conversation to augment strategic approach.
We all think this project will be phenomenal, but first we just want to mitigate against
Those in the audience with a lack of info on the subject.
Yeah, basically just arming ourselves against the less informed.
Those first 8 pages, I mean, they are electric. But is there a way of setting that in context for the viewer?
We think we might need to help them out a bit. Most people don't know much about this story and how it prefigures the battle for the soul of America and all that.
Well, I don't think the audience has to know the specific history. I mean, hopefully they're intrigued enough with what they're looking at that they'll, inadvertently, learn some. But the movie's not gonna make them feel stupid because they don't know everything in advance. I mean, the whole point is to, have some discovery here, right?
Yes, of course. We just want to eliminate any reason for the audience to say, I'm disengaging.
Yeah, but the point is not to say what we don't like about this latest incarnation.
Oh, no. We just want to strategically eliminate doubt and questions, and that's where we're coming from.
Yeah, it's not a diminishment.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just thinking specifics, like what characters, what scenes in particular,
Yeah, let's jump right in then.
Yeah, so again, the pages were robust and vigorous, but ostensibly it does feel kind of hard to say what we are seeing at times.
What's the overriding opposition?
Exactly, what's the dangerous part of it?
Well, we've talked about this. I mean, the opposition is really just the times they're living in, how oppressive and traditional it is, and, how our guys are fighting against that, trying to forge something new in our country.
right.
But we're wondering how they're stepping out of the comfort zones and into the danger.
Yeah, like, who's opposed to them?
We're not trying to be literal here.
I know, but wouldn't that be weird if we just, stuck in a bad guy there all of a sudden?
Oh, no, of course not.
We're only wanting to work with what we think might really happen.
Like, could there maybe be some, I don't know, dangerous heretic who could be, like, stalking one of them?
Yeah, or could one of the guys be, like, having one of those deep conversations while they're about to jump off a bridge? Or, okay, that's the bad version, but you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm all for bringing out the inner conflicts. I thought this latest draft went a long way toward that, I mean, if it's too forced, it's not really gonna feel like it fits, is it?
Sometimes a little forcing isn't bad. A little conflict.
It's not bad.
And I think we could lean into some of the reversals.
I was gonna mention the reversals. Sorry, go for it.
Well, we were thinking that some of the characters could lean into the things that are unacted upon.
Unacted upon?
Well,
We just don't want this to get too small. We want this to be big enough for your voice. And from the outset, we want to see the story in its internal wrestling, but we still want it to feel interconnected.
Exactly. But it's like that lengthy dinner scene, for instance. Great as it is, it feels kind of standalone, disembodied, like it's unrelated to anything else around it.
Well, I don't agree exactly. I mean, every main character is there, and yeah, it's definitely not some big plotty thing. It's solidly in the character development category, but I think it's cool to see them all interacting. And if you really think about it, they all definitely say things that are pretty revealing, so.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to have much storytelling impact because it doesn't appear to affect anything else. I mean, as it is right now, you could lose that scene entirely and nobody would miss it.
But by that same token, we could just kind of not make the movie at all, and no one would miss it.
Well, don't get us wrong. We love the scene. We just think that you can lean into more connective tissue. as a backbone to the narrative trajectory.
Can I make a little observational digression here for a second? I just never thought I'd be missing the word stakes. Remember when that was the buzzword of all script notes? A couple years back, everything was, what's the stakes? We need to up the stakes. It seems like it's officially been replaced now by lean in. Which actually, come to think of that, that's not that bad. Stakes was so high stakes, you know? We gotta lather everything up. But lean in, what does it even mean? Does it just mean what you're trying to tell me? Make it a little better? Because that's what I'm doing here, right?
Of course you have. We are in full support of you. This is radical, incredible work.
Absolutely. And we just want to be sure that we're leaving the door open for, once again, that semi-informed viewer, the layperson. You know, the ones who haven't written dissertations on 19th century American history. I mean, you know, some people just need a little bit of help kind of understanding why they should care.
People just have no idea why they should care. We love the pages.
Yeah, we're just giving you some handrails here. Don't be afraid to play with them. Hell, feel free to go off the rails altogether, you know.
Our only job is to support you on this journey.
What the hell am I doing? I only said yes to this because my kids said they wanted to be in Paris over Thanksgiving. Where do I stand? I have no fucking idea. This is the worst time ever to ask me that. I'm never gonna get another film made. Recent movies haven't made any money, and I'm gonna spend the rest of my life almost in production. I'm the dinosaur from 65 million years ago, right after the Marvel asteroid hit, living through its own extinction. Guy Debord was so right, it's nothing but spectacle. And we chose to have this illiterate reality TV star running our country, and now we're all just trapped in this sociopathic con man's personality disorder. The planet's on fire, we're killing the oceans, the birds, frogs, bees, ourselves. Factory farms are pulverizing the planet and torturing and murdering 10 billion animals every year. But wait, you're playing into their hand. They want you to be this disgruntled malcontent, trapped in a negative feedback loop where your only sense of freedom is to consume more shit. The fact is, the world is so much better in so many ways than ever before. It's all such an illusion anyway, that life is unfolding in some kind of linear, sensical narrative, that time has a chronology. Give it up. You're an anonymous character in a private drama. Who gives a shit?
So before we get into the details and implications of your test results, I want to circle back to our first meeting. What made you want to get tested? You said you were talking to a friend about being an underachiever as a student?
Yeah. Looking back, I realized how much trouble I had concentrating on things I wasn't really into. Mm-hmm. You know, my friends would be like, how'd you make a C on that test? It's so easy. And I'm like, I don't know, you know? They were like, you read the chapter, you answer the questions, you make an A. What's so tough about that? And I'd be like, I don't really remember the chapter. You know, I mean, my reality was I'd be like staring at the text, in, you know, in the biology textbook that we're gonna get tested on. And my mind, like one word would have like triggered all these associations and thoughts, and, you know, there'd just be this contagion of thoughts that just kind of drowned out what I was staring at. Mm-hmm. And it's like I was living in, you know, I had two parallel things in my head going at the same time, you know. My friend, anyway, I was just describing that, and they were like, that's ADD. And I was like, really? I didn't know that. I just thought like, well, that was like, there were always these hyperactive kids they gave speed to, but I wasn't that, you know.
Well, it's ADHD, and it doesn't just show up in adulthood, it's there early. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you had symptoms early.
Yeah, obviously, but I think I'm from the kind of undiagnosed, unprescribed generation. You know, we just kind of dealt with our shit and adapted, and no one cared too much, you know? Right. So, but I just got, I guess, a little curious and thought I'd take the test, you know? Well, so maybe I'm looking for a pathology to call my own.
Well, I applaud the effort. And it's never too late to learn more about yourself. And because this disorder is often misunderstood, many people who have it don't get the proper treatment, and as a result, may not live up to their full potential.
I'm not so much worried about that, you know. I figure I've just been playing the cards I've been dealt. You know?
Well, another caution and concern is being stuck with a label. You know, how you see yourself.
Yeah, again, I'm not really worried about that either. I'm not seeking treatment or certainly medication or anything. I just figured there's not much I can do about any of this stuff, right? So.
Well, the overall good news, I mean, you know, technically you do have ADHD, but it's very mild. I mean, you're barely in the category. As a matter of fact, your biggest indicators by far in the inattentive and distracted subtype.
That makes sense. Yeah. The old mind just kind of goes its own way sometimes, you know. So.
You know, do you find yourself doing that during conversations? Getting easily distracted?
Excuse me? What? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally into this. I initiated this.
Okay.
You've got my full attention. I was just kidding.
Yeah, you have some pretty high-level coping mechanism skills.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think life is one big coping mechanism. We'll be judged on how well we coped, you know? So, you know, I used to think the arts were like some kind of calling, but now I think it's just the right therapies for the right conditions, you know?
Let's get into this here instead. Piles of stuff left around. Frequent traffic violations. Difficulty learning new games because you get lost during the instructions.
Yeah, that one is like custom written for me. My daughters have been trying to get me to play Catan lately, and I'm just so slow to understand the game. I just can't.
Yeah, well, there's more. There's trouble with authority, poor handwriting, difficulty falling asleep because your mind is racing. Now that's classic.
Yeah, definitely. The body can be getting really tired, but the mind just keeps going.
I don't understand this one. Avoids group activities?
Yeah, but, you know, when I can.
Oh, okay. Well, you actually didn't score high in the hyperactivity category. You don't get stuck. You don't seek frequent high stimulation. You don't have significant relationship difficulties or negative internal feelings. So, you know, you're fortunate because these areas can be very debilitating and self-destructive for most people.
Yeah, not very self-destructive. I figure life's gonna take care of that for me. I don't need to hasten the process, you know what I mean? So, but, you know, can I say, taking this test was really pretty fun. The way it's worded, it was kind of funny. And I don't know, I kind of felt sad for people who scored high in the category of like, the harder I try, the worse it gets. You know, some of these I just couldn't relate to at all. You know, like all the impulsivities and the like seeking high stimulation, like bungee jumping or wanting to be an ER doctor. So there's so much I didn't feel like registered with me at all.
Wow. Well, I mean, in the impulsivity category, you did rate high for frequent traffic violations, so.
Yeah, but that one is the one I really questioned if that was in the right category, because I think like exceeding the speed limit by 9 miles an hour, the cops always give me a ticket anyway. I've never got a warning ticket in my life, you know? So that isn't a result of like impulsively jamming down the accelerator and flying down the road. I think it's probably more in the category of, you know, not following standard procedures, you know, exceeding speed limits, probably more in that category than impulsive, but.
You know, I'll just reach out to the professors and doctors who created this test and have them move that to that category. So.
Yeah, I think that'd be an improvement. It's the only, other than that, I think the test is perfect.
So do you consider yourself a controlling person?
Not really, yeah. Just, you know, things I care about the most, you know, at any given time, but no, not overall.
You're a writer and director.
Yeah, you know, movie stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't know any of your movies.
Oh, that's okay. I don't expect it.
But our receptionist, Camille, she's a huge fan of yours.
Tell her thank you. That's sweet.
I imagine what you do requires intense focus.
Yeah, very intense for, you know, long periods of time sometimes, so that's what I like about it, though.
That's not at all uncommon with ADHD, you know? When you put your mind to something, when you're motivated, I bet you hyper-focus.
Yeah, definitely. I can be as obsessive, you know, as I need to be. You know?
Well, maybe that's your superpower, you know? Sometimes your greatest weakness can turn out to be your greatest strength.
Well, that's very inspirational. You know, that should be like on a poster on your wall. You know, that's really...
Do you meditate?
No. I've tried over the years thinking, it sounded cool. I know other people swear by it, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, not for me.
Not enough RPMs for you going on up there.
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, the river's kind of flowing. Occasional rapids, but generally a pleasant enough trip.
Okay.
I'm on the raft,
So as far as physical activity, do you like specific repetitive tasks? Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I can dig into minutia and do
That's all.
little detailed things, but then bigger things like sports, yeah. I like anything with the ball. Football, baseball, basketball, tennis, bowling, foosball, ping pong. I found it very relaxing, very kind of therapeutic in a way. Here recently, I've been doing these kind of intense little detailed painting wood construction things. I've enjoyed that a lot, different part of the old visual brain working.
So you don't want treatment or medication? No? Help me out here. Why are you here?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I'm just maybe a little trying to figure out one little piece of the puzzle. That's all.
Okay, is there anything going on in your life or your past? Or what are you trying to solve?
I don't think there's anything I'm really trying to solve, but you mentioned the past, and it has felt recently that the past is a little more present in my life, like the years are kind of folding in on each other in some strange way.
Like how?
Well, I'm not nostalgic at all. I really don't want to go to the past. I don't look back longingly at any of it. I really don't. But a few things have happened lately that just kind of put my past on my doorstep. So that's been kind of interesting.
Like what?
Well, no big deal. I'm back in my hometown, making this documentary. It's kind of about criminal justice, but it's also kind of about the town. It's my first time being back there since my mom passed away 2.5 years ago. So, that's weird to be there without her there. That's a real adjustment. And I'm running into a lot of old friends, and that always takes you, by definition, takes you back.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, but the weirdest thing, the kind of coolest thing, is I got in the mail this box of tapes, these letter tapes I made in the 80s to a friend of mine. He was one of my best friends from high school. He went off to college really far away. And you remember how expensive phone calls were?
Yes.
Back then? So we used to just communicate by, you just put a little cheap cassette in and ask questions or just answer things and free associate what's going on in your life. Like, hey, you still dating that Cindy chick? And, oh, I went to the show the other night. It was kind of a cool way to communicate.
Yeah.
But he just found this box of tapes of me talking. So he sends them to me, and I'm listening to them, and it's wild. It's like listening in on old therapy sessions from over 30 years ago.
That's a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
So what did you find?
I mean, it's a little crazy. It's kind of cringy, some of it.
Okay.
It's like stuff dating or, some of the contemporary stuff. It's like, oh. But overall, my takeaway, is it's like we all think we're changing so much, oh, I'm a different person than I was back then. But I'm finding no, it feels very, very, contemporary. It sounds like me,
Like how?
Well, I can just hear in my voice, there's some project I'm working on, something I'm excited about, obsessed with, seeing the potential in something, just trying to work on it. And I'm listening to that voice and I'm thinking oh, wow, isn't that interesting, this relationship we all have, this persistent relationship we have constant our whole life. And that's our, our present self's relation to these past selves, these other points in our life, So I'm kind of thinking that guy has no idea that his future is gonna exceed his dreams. Whatever he's working on or obsessed with, it's gonna, go better than he can even imagine. So I don't know. This makes me think there's a constant there, and yet I feel so lucky. I feel like I'm sort of standing in the same place I've always been standing in. I'm just older. More blessed, I guess.